Well, good afternoon. My name is Luke and I'm the rector of the Avon Valley Churches. And I wanted to talk to you today about how we deal with the stressful and difficult times in which we live. As you will of course be aware, there is a war going on in Iran. We're not directly involved, I know, but we have had some involvement. And of course, as you know very well, the American president was hoping that we would be more actively involved. That hasn't been the case. But nevertheless, it is a reality that there is a war not too far away and there's a degree of British involvement. And this is a worrying thing. War is always worrying, and the danger that we might in some way or other be drawn into it or be subject to some sort of revenge because we've to a degree supported the Americans. This is a concerning thing for all of us. And of course we should be concerned, I'm sure we are concerned, for the ordinary innocent people of Iran who are victims in all of this. And likewise, the war continues in the Ukraine. Again, ordinary people suffering at the hands of despots and tyrants. And war going on elsewhere as well. There's still fighting going on in Gaza, in Israel, in Lebanon, and elsewhere. I was looking at the news today and seeing that there's fighting going on in Mali. Nobody mentions it hardly, of course, today, because I don't know why. It seems that some wars are of interest and others are not. But we live in troubled times, don't we? Times of warfare and violence and a messed up and difficult world. Another thing that troubled me as I was looking at the news today was to see, and we've just seen it today, two Jewish people murdered in London, really just for being Jewish. And the rise of anti-Semitism is a big concern to me, and I trust to all of us. Of course, we're all concerned about what is happening in Israel and Gaza, and I would accept that some of the actions by Israel in Gaza have been wrong. I totally get that, but that should not and must not justify anti-Semitism and attacks on our Jewish friends and neighbours. All racism and hatred is wrong. And again, it's a worrying thing that we're seeing in our society and in our nation and in our culture, this hatred of people just because of their religion or race, and it's a terrible thing. So again, troubling times. And of course, the third really troubling thing that's going on at the moment is that as a result of this war in Iran, there's the effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, oil not being allowed or able to get out, and so rising costs for us, for all of us. And many of you, I'm sure, have struggled with the cost of living anyway. And here we have the already happening, the cost of filling your car is becoming more expensive, the cost of heating your house will become more expensive, and other things will become more expensive as well, all because of this war in Iran, of which we have no real part, but nevertheless we're affected by it. And it's a worrying time for many of us, isn't it, as we struggle to make ends meet. And I totally feel the struggle and the worries that some of you here must have, and indeed I share them to a degree. So I thought I'd talk to you today about how we can look with hope in such difficult times. And I thought I'd share with you a couple of verses from the Bible that help me and share with you a bit of a personal testimony as well. The first verse I wanted to share is Psalm 46 verse 1, which says this: God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Now notice that verse doesn't say that there won't be trouble. In fact, quite the opposite. It declares quite clearly that there will be trouble, but it says that God is a very present help in such times. His help is real. You know, I've been a Christian for over 40 years, and I've faced some good times, of course, in those times, but also some really difficult times. I've seen the death of my father, the death of my mother, the death of one of my sisters, and other troubles that I won't bore you with. Life has its struggles, doesn't it? But I have to say that that verse has been true in my life. I've had my difficult times, of course, but God has been a refuge and a strength and a very present help in those times of trouble. So I encourage you today, as you look at what's going on in our world, and I'm sure worry about it to a degree, I encourage you to turn to God, turn to him in prayer. Lift your worries to him and tell him what you're concerned about and ask him to help you. And you'll find the reality that I have found, that God is a very present help in trouble. Another similar verse comes from Isaiah chapter 41, where God says this. He says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God." God is with us. God is real, and we can turn to him and trust that he will help us at those difficult times in our lives. So my prayer for you as we look at this world and see the worrying things that are going on, my prayer for you is that you will turn to God, turn to him in prayer, and find the reality of his presence and his help. Those verses really are true. God is our refuge, God is our strength, and he is a present help in time of trouble. Troubles will of course come, but you are not alone. Turn to God, and may you find the reality of his help and his strength. So may God bless you and be with you today and in the days to come. In Jesus' great name, amen.